Hello everyone, and today we're going to be playing Outhold, which is an incremental tower defense game. I've always absolutely adored tower defense games, so we're going to see how this game goes. We do start off with 1 point, which does let us buy an arrow tower to get us started. So we start off with 1 yellow, which we can use to purchase a tower. By the look of this, everything's going to be going down this narrow area, so we just want to get a tower somewhere that will cover as much ground as possible. Our starting arrow tower isn't the strongest in the world, so we're hoping that by the time these get a bit closer, we're able to purchase another arrow tower, because they are getting quite far already, which we did manage. So we are going to get a second arrow tower that covers a little bit further along, so that we can hopefully kill them and stop them getting to our base, which does not seem like it will be happening. So we did get away from that with 6 triangles, which we can use to upgrade our towers. So we will do both increasing the arrow's base damage as well as its fire rate, and we'll try again. This new base damage upgrade does definitely let us kill them quicker. We do need to get that up to about 60 so that we can one-shot these, so it is going to be quite a bit of time until we get there. As I don't think we're going to have the damage to kill these off, we're just going to front load our towers so that we've got a better chance of killing them, and that did give us 9 points. It has just said that we have learned how to refund, which we're probably not going to take advantage of currently. We are just going to put that straight into upgrading our damage. So this new base damage upgrade that we've got, we have just got ourselves back to the level where we have been failing, and it has just allowed us to absolutely smash our way through this. We are still going to struggle on wave 4, but I'm hoping that we're able to get another tower down just to let us get as much currency as possible. Oh wow, surprisingly we beat that, and that did get us to the boss. We are chunking the boss quite hard, but the fact it's already got to here with only losing about 250 health is we don't have the damage for this, but that is going to that has put us up to a really good starting grounds, which we are going to increase our base damage again. And I think we're going to add on the ability to upgrade towers and increase our starting coins by 10, which allows us start off with a level 2 tower, see how much damage that does, because we were doing 25 probably. Yeah, 24 to 36 in comparison to 30 to 45, so upgrading them for 10 is quite a big jump when the towers start getting expensive. But to start with, we probably just want to collect more towers, and with the next one being 75, we will just be upgrading our towers at this point rather than trying to give them any more. Now let's see how we do against this boss. So we have already taken him down very far. We might actually just be able to sneak past in this one, which we did. That gave us a ton of currency as well as a level complete star. I'm assuming the stars are for very specific upgrades. New towers, for example. We're going to increase our arrow damage again up so it's halfway towards completion. And we're also going to increase the amount we get from defeating enemies by 20%. And we are going to try tier 2. I don't know if we're going to have the damage to get through it. I don't know how much enemies are going to scale by, or quite a lot by the look of this, because that's so many. We probably want some slow towers in the middle, just to give us the best chance of killing as many of them as we can, which we'll see for next time. For this one, we are just going to just see how much we can make. We have come across a new enemy, this little pink circle. They have tons of health. We're definitely not going to be able to beat this level just with how much health those guys have. Hopefully we can just make a good amount. We now have 42 green out of the total that we've earned of 169. I don't think moving on to that round yet is worth it. So what's probably worth us doing is just farming level 1 for a couple of times. As we're going to be farming this level for a few times, it might be worth us getting the upgrades that meant that we can start the waves earlier and gain extra coins from doing it. Because the more money we can make on these early levels will just give us that little bit of the boost we need to properly fight the level 2. So failing level 2 where we were was getting us 38 green, whereas completing level 1 is giving us 94. So So it is definitely the better upgrade for us now. But we will buy the early spawn. That time challenge sounds like it'd be really good, but it's probably one we want to come back to once we're a little bit stronger. And we're going to buy one extra coin drop. We will just save up to maybe until we've got about 300 or 400 in stock, just so we can do a bit of a jump and then try level 2 again. So that early spawn upgrade that we did get only does give us more money, which definitely helps with the waves, but wasn't particularly great for what I thought was like. I thought it was going to give us more green, which it would if we bought the coin converter as well. So I feel like we might want to push straight for upgrading the coin converter to max first, before we farm our damage upgrades, just so we've got both buffs at once.
20 minutes later.
So we spent a bit of time and we have upgraded the bonus tokens that we get from killing enemies and from the coins, and it has jumped us up from getting 94 per run to 136, which is now going to let us really push our arrow damage up, just to finalise our little farming session so that we're off to the best start that we can be. The waves have been nice and simple. I've been doing it the same way every single time, of just up 3 arrows and 1 slow tower, pushing straight to tier 4, upgrading them all to level 2, and then just waiting, as nothing can really get past about here. But I don't want to spawn the boss at the same time, because I don't do enough damage to kill all of them when I do that, because everything does just group up a bit too much. If we did have a bit of AoE damage, it might be a bit different, but we don't at the moment. It's actually going to be worth us upgrading our attack speed on our arrow towers, because that is one of the problems that we do run into when we spawn a few too many waves at once, is that they can group up a little bit too much. Whereas if we had that little bit more attack speed, and especially the multi-shot that other upgrade was talking about, we might actually be able to get through this without any real problems. Which that attack speed upgrade of an extra 20%, I believe it was, attack speed, has definitely made the waves die quite a lot quicker, and that boss died a lot earlier on. So we will just finish that up to the 30%. We can't get the multi-shot until we clear a couple of extra levels, because it does need the extra currency, but we will just now max out our arrow damage, and then we'll give level 2 another try.
Several bad puns later.
We have now got enough to max out our arrow damage, just to push us off at the starting point that we want to be for the next level. We are going to also add in a bit of a damage link, so that our slow tower that we're going to put in the middle can actually start doing damage to a few enemies, so it shares the damage across, which I think might help quite heavily on this level. We are going to put a second arrow tower at the back, just so that once they get to the middle, he can start hammering them. So I feel like what we need on this level is just more towers rather than specifically bigger ones at the start, just to start with. And we are going to increase the slow on our slow tower, just so that he's got the best chance possible to cause as much damage as he can. Probably wasn't the right tower to upgrade, but we've done it now. And we're going to do the front tower as well. So he is now doing 69 to 103 damage, which hopefully means that they can one-shot some of these little red ones when we get a little bit lucky. I'm surprised at how far in we are actually getting with this. This is quite incredible. We are going to put the next 75 coins we get into upgrading the slow tower in the middle, because I believe that increases how much he slows, as well as his range. Maybe? But we're definitely not going to beat this boss with the amount of health he has. That's 12,500 when we were struggling to kill 1,200 in the last wave. He's closer than I was expecting it to be. We're not going to do it, because we're about to lose all of our strong towers, but get him down to the final 1,000. is a lot better than I thought, and that did give us 267, which is huge. We are going to add the marks. That does mean I have to be a bit more proactive just to increase the amount of damage that we're doing, but 25% increased damage to that boss, we would have killed it. We are then going to add a bit more to the damage link and use our final amount to increase the slow, make it so that slow enemies take more damage, and finally a little bit of a crit damage. And we're probably just going to repeat the exact layout that we had on this one of just buy these 3 towers nice and early, just so that we've got our damage spread out, because we're not able to hold them up here. So just putting all of our money on the first tower wouldn't be the best plan ever. I'm also have not been marking towers like I said I would. In waves like this where they are just tons of swarming little enemies, I don't think that my clicking them is particularly helpful, but it gives me something to do while I'm waiting. It isn't just standing here. Let's see if we can actually take this out with this extra damage. I think we are definitely in a better state upgrade wise than the last time we got here, but I think we are still going to run into the same, if actually slightly worse, state than we were previously. I think the towers were too distracted when I spawned it. So we're going to add on an extra 10% crit strike, an extra 10% slow damage, and an extra 3% slow speed. As well as make it where our towers have a 10% chance just to drop a bit of currency. Okay, we're trying this boss again. We didn't really get many actual upgrades that are going to be particularly big. It's more luck where we might get a few lucky crit strikes. And just having all of our damage equally spread out again. He is definitely a lot lower this time around than he was the last one. And we got him, which got us 463 green and another point upgrade. We are going to use that star on giving us a chance that all the grunts that spawn could turn into explosive ones and blow everyone else up. Add an extra 10% crit chance. Have it so it auto marks targets if I don't do it manually, just so the closest one is always taking extra damage. Because an extra 25% damage can be quite big with all of this. And we're going to add an extra 10 coins to our bank and increase the slow again by a further 3%. We are just going to run tier 2 again because I don't feel like we're quite ready to test tier 3. The auto marking is definitely helpful with the waves because it means I don't have to pay attention to it. Obviously on waves with these bigger enemies we'll manually change it over to the large one so we've got the best chance of actually killing them. But when we've just got waves of the same enemy, it really does not matter. The advantage of the ability to target the enemies as well, which I haven't spoken about, is it does cause them to actually just target those. So if you've got explosive enemies, we can just click on them and then the first hour is just already firing on them. And having all that damage already being spread out is huge. This boss is just getting absolutely obliterated, so we should be able to start on the next level pretty soon. We're probably just going to max out our critical hit chance up to 50% before we then go and test it, just because it feels right to finish off that upgrade before you jump over. The chance for these coins to drop on our arrow towers is actually quite a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. So it's still just a very low percent, but they fire so often that they do add up. That got worryingly close.
A few moments later.
There we go. So we did just manage to max out our critical hit chance up to 50%. We will put the rest into maxing out our coin bank and then making it so that enemies drop a little bit of extra coins. We are going to try level 3. I'm assuming the enemies come in here, go around and head up. So we're probably going to want slow towers in these 2 points, because there and here, just to cover as many points as possible. I don't know. Ooh, we got fast boys as well now, which very much stopped my ability to think properly there. Because of these fast ones, it definitely is harder than I would have given it credit for. We're going to buy the time challenges. We'll go back to the start, see what they are. And we're going to increase the chance of the grunts to spawn from 15 to 20. And increase our arrow tower's critical strike damage. So we do have 45 seconds to beat this level, which I don't believe will be particularly difficult, as long as we spawn the waves nice and quickly. I don't know what we're going to get for doing it. I will be quite interested to see what the actual bonus is, and we'll just queue in the final boss as well. Yeah, with our new damage, this was nothing to laugh at. So we did get 1 hourglass from that run, and that does increase the coin cannon's based fire rate. I don't think we've got the coin cannon yet, so I don't... Well, we will upgrade it. We don't know what it is to do it, so it's not a particularly important upgrade for us to prioritize. We will spend that small amount of green that we've unlocked so far on... Probably just spend it on upgrading the marked damage up to 15%, because just a straight 15% increased damage done will be quite strong, to be fair. So we are trying for this one's time trial as well as just trying to get a bit of extra money, because we need... I think we need something AoE for the level 3 where we were struggling. I don't know if we've got anything like that coming up. So I'm just kind of hoping we might be able to get a few little upgrades here and there, which will add up for us to make that level just that little bit more doable. So we had no trouble defeating this boss as well, which does give us an extra 15% fire rate on the Queen Cannon, which again we don't have, so it's just an upgrade for the sake of upgrading at the moment. So we did then max out our arrow criticals damage by another 50%, so it should now deal an extra 100% damage. With our towers dealing a good amount already, that will make a lot of these areas significantly easier. We are then going to put an extra 3% onto our slow and make the explosions do that little bit extra damage. We'll try level 3 again. I don't have any high expectations for it, but we need to keep giving it a look every now and then, otherwise we're never going to get anywhere. Yeah, that was not it. We are going to max out our camp's max health just because it was there and hadn't been done. And we're going to give level 2 a couple of runs. If we can get those explosive ones to just properly add up, it might actually fix some of the problems we've been running into, where it just doesn't feel like we've got any AoE damage, because we are just using single target towers. So if we do get enough of these purple guys to spawn, they can absolutely obliterate waves by themselves. So that might be our plan. As we've already completed the time trial as well, we can't redo it, so it is just once per level, which does make sense. But it's always good to know that it is a one time. So I like the fact it just says completed up there. So we've just added another 5% spawn chance to the grunts, and an extra 50% to their explosive damage. It should only be probably like 2 more runs, and then we'll have completed those 2 explosive levels.
Eventually.
There we go, that is the explosive damage is over here maxed out. What I was thinking as I was doing that as well is I've been complaining about not doing any real AoE damage, but over here when we slow an enemy, they do get any damage done shared. So that might be something that we want to add a bit more down and a bit more upgrades into. We are going to try level 3 again. I do think we want the slow tower here and here still, so I am going to buy that one as quickly as possible so I'm not ignoring it and forgetting it exists. While that doesn't help us particularly right now, having that already built I feel like might just push us in the right direction so we can't then forget about it. We do cover basically the entire map with our slow rings, apart from this little corner here and this little corner here. But I don't know whether we're going to need that extra slow, or whether we'd be better off putting that money into just increasing the amount of damage we can do. The slow on these fast ones is so strong, because it just actually stops them, which is really what we want. because they are the ones that have caused us problems every other time. So having them stuck just right in the middle of us is fantastic. We have got this boss, but it's again 50,000 health. So I'm not expecting us to be able to beat it this level, but we've got so much further than I was expecting us to. We just have to remember the order of which we did it, because I feel like that's going to be very important. Getting all of these slows down. I am honestly surprised that we managed to do that. Level 3 is the end of the demo, but we do still have quite a lot of upgrades that we can still grab, so we are just going to make sure that we grab as many of them as we can. So we won't be able to get all the upgrades using the stars because they are limited currency, but we have all of the green upgrades we can work on. And the coin cannon. We cannot forget our coin cannon. That I wonder what it does. So we are going to get our slow tower down here first of all, and then we're going to buy these two little arrow towers, just because they do give us that nice little bit of distance that we can use straight into the middle. I didn't mean to start that wave yet, but here we are. I accidentally put a slow tower in the wrong place, and that absolutely obliterated my ability to do any damage. I've not done this one as well as the previous ones because I've just upgraded it really stupidly, because I've got these two towers here that can basically dominate the entire start of the round, and for whatever reason I was just ignoring them, which makes no sense whatsoever when they do as much damage as they have been. Look at how much extra damage all these towers get hit for once they're in the range of our slow. I really shouldn't be ignoring that damage as much as I have been, and should put quite a lot more into upgrading these, because that is insane and probably can add up really heavily to quite a lot of damage. And we are already back on the boss again. And look at the trail of coins it's leaving from the Arrow Towers drop coins upgrade we had. I've worked out what the coin cannon is. You right click the boss or any enemy, you shoot it. Now, not particularly useful when we're already obliterating the boss, but it's really nice to know that it is something that we can work on, because it's such a niche thing. We're not going to work on upgrading its damager. We are going to just stick with the slow tower, which is something we use an awful lot. So we are going to increase its slow, the amount of damage they take by an extra 10% while in the slow, and an extra 3% shared damage when they get slowed and just hit by another tower. I don't know how I can run this level so many times but mess it up so many times to the point I just can't defeat it and have to start again. I think I just panic for no reason, and because of that make stupid mistakes. There we go, we got our two slow towers down. We are just going to have to start filling in the towers in the middle so that we can go back to not dying because of my ineptitudes. In this one I definitely prioritised too much on the front end damage, which wasn't keeping up anyway, so it just caused everything to just fall apart for no reason. I'd also forgotten to upgrade my slow towers, and it makes them attack faster, so it's just another thing that would double up to get this boss killed every single time, but I didn't take advantage of for who knows what reason. Might as well just shoot it for a little bit, just for something to do. The coin transfer rate is so minimal anyway that just making sure we kill it is more important. Because 91 coins to 23 is about a 1 in 4, but the boss drops more than that. So we are going to max out the extra damage that they take while slowed, so it's now an extra 20% on top of what they have been taking, which is huge. We'll get our double slow towers down, and then we'll just go back through adding in our extra couple of towers. We do have this little bit of a dead space here currently because of how I prioritised the towers this time around, but hopefully that should now be more than resolved. And there we go, we're now back to having damage everywhere, and they're all now particularly upgraded as well, just because we've got them basically spawn trapped again, which is absolutely huge. Having them spawn trapped does make it a little bit difficult to spawn the wave early, because I could not tell you when it is ending. It's just a guess, and I'm not very good at guessing, as we've seen in this run where I've been wrong every single time. Apart from that one. Well, that's because they weren't spawn trapped. Now on this one we've got all of our archer towers at level 4 doing 86 to 129, and he is just getting obliterated as we go, which is massive. We didn't even have to use our coin cannon, but we did only come away with 54 coins because we did spend all of them. But we also completed the time challenge, which does mean that we can just increase the fire rate of all of our towers. What I'm actually going to do is I am going to refund it all again, because I think putting our time trial coins into that is going to be a much bigger upgrade than we had by putting them elsewhere. I feel like that was basically where we were up to. Watermark we're slightly different, but we're close enough. Yeah, we'll try this upgrade and see how that feels. I don't think it's going to feel any different than how we had it in the previous run. It's just going to be that slight bit different, if you get me. We need to get our second slow tower down just to stop these fast guys sneaking past us. We are actually going to fail this run. There's just that one wave where if I start it too early, we get absolutely hammered for no reason. Once we get to here, we're not going to have any difficulties. So we have just remaxed out our mark multiplier, our coin drops, and put a ton of damage into upgrading the coin cannon, which we don't use particularly often, but better to have it done so that we don't have to think about it. That does only leave us 2 upgrade paths to finish. The damage link, which will be huge, but it's expensive, and then just finishing off our little cannon upgrades. I don't know how much I like this auto purchasing upgrades. I'm going to leave it on for now, just as a test for it. In the really early levels, it does just feel a little bit weird when I want to build something. It doesn't seem like it's been a negative. It's just a bit weird. Not having to think about the upgrades, I will say, does make it easier. We are not running into any problems with anything because we are absolutely hammering all the enemies. But it does have that little bit of, oh no, at the start when you're constantly broke, when you feel like you should have money. It just takes a bit of getting used to, like everything else. The slow damage there can be so good. What happened there that cleared all of these up above? One of these was explosive, and because this shares the damage, it managed to one-shot all of those guys around there, and that is just perfection. All this game needs to be fully I can be a lazy POS is just an automatic coin collection, and then I could quite literally just turn my brain off and just watch everything explode, which would be honestly incredible. I don't know why it just tickles that bit of my brain in such a good way. So that final run did let us max out our damage link up to the total of 15% and give us a little bit more to the coin cannon, which we're still not really taking advantage of because we don't need it, but it is very nice to have there that if we do suddenly start to need it. It is still a little bit touchy at these starts with it auto buy-in, but it calms down so quickly it's not really a problem. In fact, it's also a 79% slow on both of these. It is ridiculous. I don't think it double stacks, so it's not going that slow in total, but just constantly being in a slow field just absolutely ruins this boss's ability to get anywhere. For what is quite systemically a simple game idea. Don't know how they've done it, but it does really tickle my brain. Just the way they've got the coins dropping, the noises, the sounds of all the enemies, like even the sounds of the explosions, just is just right for that for my head, and I absolutely adore it. I don't know what it is. Very good game design, a very good sound design on what is quite an idle game, just to keep you interested, just enough that you want to just keep pushing. And there we have it. That is every purchasable upgrade got in Outhold. You can wishlist Outhold on Steam at the link in the pinned comment. Outhold is planned to release by the end of this year, so do make sure you keep an eye on it for any further details. And we shall see you next time.